Actually going to skip down to a question that has really been asked quite a bit lately, which is, what is a woman? And, normally it's me and Marcus here, and, we can debate on that all we want, and we would have merit doing so, but it helps to have someone who does have the two X chromosomes on here. So this question, what is a woman, has been exploding a lot lately. It's been, you see it everywhere. Kind of started with Matt Walsh, was asked that question, or he actually asked that question of two supposedly non-binary people. They were both dudes on Dr. Phil. But it's more than that, as we talked about. Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee was asked this of Ketanji Jackson Brown. Yeah, Ketanji Jackson Brown, the newest justice on the Supreme Court now that she's been in. Even though she couldn't answer what is a woman, which has legal ramifications. And it's a question that should be asked right now with what is going on in the world right now. So let's face it, Amanda and crowd, women are being given weird names right now. Stuff I've heard is birthing persons. I mean, I thought that was self-evident. Bleeders. Because, why not refer to a woman for what she is? Let's just do talk about the one thing that women do specifically that men can't do. Not just the one thing, but one of the biggest, at least outward things that women do that men can't do. Let's just refer to that because, they're not women. They're bleeders. Yeah, and I was thinking I was going to be misogynistic at the beginning of the show. I mean, in President Biden's federal budget proposal, there's a section on infant mortality rates, which officially calls mothers birthing people. So, this is something that's handed down from the federal government. Harvard Medical School has started doing that, and the National Institute of Health. I worry that when the National Institute of Health can't call mothers mothers, they call them birthing people. So I have some ideas on why this is wrong. Amanda, why do you think it's wrong?
If you don't think that's wrong, where are you? Oh my goodness. I'm just if somebody came up to me and just said, you're a bleeder, I'm sorry, what? What did you just call me? I would be very offended by that.
You should be. You should be offended.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I don't know. It's labeling people. I mean, it is labeling people, and it's I don't know. It's really hard to it's really hard to wrap my head around this.
The fact that this is where we are in America?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because I'm thinking about, so again, I have a lot of experience with disabilities and stuff. And if I were to call my sister the epileptic,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh.
But I mean, that would be wrong, right?
That would be very wrong. That would be very wrong.
Down my throat about that. So I see that as the same thing. Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's awful that I don't understand, and it goes hand in hand with the fact that they're trying to calling women bleeders, calling them birthing persons, not only so that men can have babies and men can give birth, they cannot. Transgender women are not women, they're men. But it's meant to, in our language, lessen the familial ties between parents as kids, as well as really change society's thoughts on women. That's the end goal of this, for a very important purpose. Now I'm gonna get into a type of segment. This is section. I'm gonna admit to you, I don't really know what I'm doing here. So just stay with me. This is gonna be going down rapids, and we're gonna get to the other side. So I started reading a book recently. It was written by Andrew Klavan, who is someone I've been reading even before I knew who he was. Has a Daily Wire podcast. I watch each episode probably twice. It's a really smart guy, but and I agree with him on a lot. And it's great because he sees things way different than I ever could. He just different paradigm. But he wrote a book called The Truth and Beauty. Definitely worth reading. Here we go. There you go. Definitely worth reading. And he talks about it's the underline of this is how the lives and works of England's greatest poets point the way to a deeper understanding of the word of Jesus. And because women are part of the natural world, he gets into this. The Romantic poets understood how important women were. I'm going to read a little bit by Wordsworth. It's out of here. So let me just... Bless the infant babe, nursed in his mother's arms, who sinks to sleep, rocked on his mother's breast, who with his soul drinks in the feelings of his mother's eye. For him, in one dear presence, there exists a virtue which irradiates and exalts objects through widest intercourse of sense. Now, I can't really take much credit for the insights that I'm about to give, because it came from someone who obviously understands this a lot better than mine, but he makes a very good point, which is that mothers are what gives, or who gives their kids humanity. So, like, I don't know about you, but without my mom, I probably would be a lot nastier human being. I would probably be a lot just meaner and a true version of toxic masculinity. That's why it's so important for parents to have both mother and father, because without one or the other's influence, without the feminine that the mother, encaptures in the masculine that the father does, losing either which can lead to that toxic masculinity. How's your mother affected you kind of growing up, in 5 paragraphs or less? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, definitely quite a lot, of course. And man, I was not expecting this question, so sorry. But yeah,
Good.
yeah. Yeah, quite a lot, of course. And because I'm also a woman, and I can say that.
So you know what a woman is. Okay, just making sure.
I do, actually. Last time I checked, I am a woman. So, but yeah, so I was, she taught me about obviously she was very nurturing, which I'm sure most mothers are very nurturing and stuff. And it's that nurture versus nature kind of thing, that they bring to the table, which is awesome. But yeah, she definitely influenced me quite a lot. Both just me being a woman, but also in a spiritual sense as well, of course.
Well, I know if there were just men raising people, there would be a lot of savagery going around, which is not a bad thing in boys. It's not a bad thing, especially in boys. Me and my brothers, we did this over Easter. We got together, and one of the first things me and Brody did is we got into wrestling. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have that very masculine type of, interactions with each other. However, if it's not for the mother, they would never learn to control it. And if not for the father, they would never know where to unleash that masculinity in positive ways. So, why single mothers, as hard as they try, and I know they try hard, the best a single mother can do is is very rarely, I should say, if you have very poor parents, it might be overlap, but it's never going to be as good as having that masculine and feminine side working together to raise the child. And that's why it's so important to know what a woman is, because femininity is a superpower, in my opinion. Because, like I said, and it's actually funny reading through this, because later on you read that there's a thing called mirror neurons, and they're first activated when a baby is held by their mother just when they're born. And going on through these mirror neurons, mothers and child's physical interactions lay the groundwork for baby's sense of self, and with that, a lifelong sense of identity. If you ever want to know why leftists want to go after your kids and destroy their identity, why they go after moms to keep that identity from being formed, it's because it's easier to then raise the child up. But that's why they have to go after the mothers, is if they can get that child away from their mother, away from that nurturing, it's so much easier for them to take. And it's easier to just destroy the child's identity. This is why the left can't answer the question, what is a woman? Which, just going to put it out there, is someone with 2 X chromosomes and someone who has female sex organs. Just saying. You have anything left to say on this?
Again, there's a lot I can say on this.
Go for it. We have like 6 more minutes that need to take up.
Oh, okay.
Go for it. I'll just you know what, you're full screen. Take it.
Oh gosh. Okay, that's a lot of pressure. Awesome. Do not do well under pressure, but it's all good. So, yeah. I had a thought earlier and it kind of left my brain just now, but that's okay. Yeah, it's mind-boggling to, I'm like, how did we get here? How are we just now trying to figure out, okay, what exactly is a woman?
How did people know for thousands and thousands of years and now they don't?
I don't know. I don't get it. And also, I think it's really interesting. Again, this is just my 2 cents on, all of this, but I think it's interesting how, a lot of people, and specifically like the left, it's all about, gender equality and, women should have the same rights as men, but at the same time, they're like slowly taking our rights away.
Yeah.
Which is
the only right.
We're just seeing it happen.
As a guy living in this culture, the only right they really seem to want to give you is the right to murder the baby that you can create. Like,
Yeah.
once that initial, fertilization, like y'all literally grow a baby inside of you. And the only right they seem to really want to fight for is the right to kill that baby. It doesn't make sense to me.
And the crazy thing is, like, what if the baby's a girl?
Exactly.
What about women's rights then?
Who cares about hers? She's just a blob of cells, which is such a 70s type thing, because now that we have things like the sonogram or the what's it called that they do?
Ultrasound?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Like, they're babies. They're babies. But
living, breathing, active.
Exactly. They can respond to stimuli. They kick, for goodness sake. But here we go back to the whole abortion thing. So to bring this in for a landing, these people are not your moral superiors. These leftists who try to say, well, you can't define a woman, only a woman can define a woman, but that's just circular logic, because how can you know for sure she's a woman? Oh, it's because she can define a woman. That doesn't make sense. That really doesn't. These people are not your moral superiors. They are trying to confuse, especially children. They are trying to manipulate. They are trying to get what they want by destroying society, the very fabric of society, the very fabric which is the interactions between men and women. Once you destroy that, basically the rest of reality just falls down. So they are not your moral superiors. Every time they try to tell you that they are, you just go back at them with, you want to murder children, as evidenced by the fact that the federal government's not going after 5 babies found. I've seen the pictures. It looks like they could have been killed in a very, very, very illegal partial birth abortion, where the baby's already sticking out and they stick a fork in their head and suck out the brains. It's terrible. You don't want to see those pictures, trust me. But these are the same people who want to murder your children like that sometimes. Oh, by the way, another thing on that story, the DC police refused to investigate or do an autopsy. It's terrible. I'll get through this. I'll get through my list down here. They want to murder children. They want to castrate kids, not just their own, but they want your kids to have the ability to castrate themselves, and they want to confuse them to get them to the point where they castrate themselves. And they can't tell you what a woman is, but they will call her a bleeder. So we on the right have a little bit different view. And again, I'm going back to this because it's just really a wealth of knowledge. But I think William Ross Wallace has the best thing I can finish on, which says, "Women, how divine your mission here upon our natal sod." Don't they? They get it. They got it back then. Keep the young hearts open, always to the breath of God. All true trophies of the age are from mother love imperiled. For the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. It's so, mothers are so important, which is why we must fight to keep women women and mothers mothers, and to fight to keep men from saying that they can be women. Traditions, correct traditions, is what we must fight for, because that's the only way that society is going to improve. Any last thoughts? Because we're about to the end of the show. No, nothing.
So.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. I think definitely you brought a perspective here that no one's ever had. And I think it really improved the show.